two players. And again, this could go either way. uThermal says he's not feeling his best. TomikuS could catch uThermal out on a bad day. I definitely think he could. So we're going to see what happens here as we go into this game on Frost. Cross positions as well, so our Zerg player is going to be feeling pretty darn good about that one.
Yeah, I'll definitely agree with that. But anyway, let's get into the player spawning down in the bottom left-hand corner. Spawning as the green turn. It's uThermal. And up in the top right-hand corner, I don't even know what color that is. I'm going to say light blue. Spawning as the light blue Zerg. It is TomikuS.
Teal.
Oh, okay.
There's always the discussion between blue and then people are like, well, no, it's actually teal. Well, is it really? Well, I don't really know, but we call it teal, so... Durava Capsa is the team of TomikuS here. Bit of an interesting team, you know. He's definitely by far their ace player, and you know, their performance in team leagues kind of comes a lot on how well does TomikuS play on this day. And the same kind of goes for uThermal. I mean, his team AT Gaming, they have a lot more kind of solid players. They have Bully, for example. They have Giant. You know, they've got a good bunch of players. But uThermal is always the player who comes out as their ace. And you know, if they've had a bad start, he's the player who can turn things around. And so he's used to playing in pretty high pressure situations and things like that. So let's see what happens here. Barracks to start things off. Going to be a Reaper expand from uThermal, despite being on one of the larger maps in the map pool.
Yeah, just completely standard. He just wants to get that early straight out, make sure he's going to be able to see what the Zerg player's doing. He's make sure he's not doing any early pool, he's not being too aggressive in any way. The Reaper will be able to stop any of that. So there ain't going to be no shenanigans this game.
Yep.
So Wardy, what do you think happens right now? What do you think is the best strategy to go for in ZVT as the turn player?
In ZVT, it's kind of weird, right? Because ZVT is one of these matchups which has gone from being so stale and so similar in every single game with Biomine to all of a sudden we're seeing a whole ton of different things. You know, we had this phase where every single game for about 2 weeks we saw mech only from Terran players. And now we either see mech or we see kind of biomech with, you know, Hellbats mixed in, or sometimes we even see tanks being used, or sometimes someone like Fantasy just goes absolutely crazy and opens mech and then turns it into bio. So, you know, we could see anything here. I don't know what's the best. I think it's really dependent on what kind of style you want to play. You know, if you're a heavy multitask-based player, you know, you should play bio. If you're a player who is going to feel more comfortable sitting back and just, you know, making sure you macro up and making good decisions, then maybe you should just play mech. You know, a mixture of both. Why not play a bit of biomech with them? With that Hellbat? You know, you can still play biomine as well. You know, this ZVT's become so awesome because there's just so many different possibilities all of a sudden since the mines got nerfed a bit and since the tanks got buffed a bit and things like that. So it's really awesome to watch right now. It's always been my favorite matchup, but right now it's kind of like leaps and bounds ahead of the others.
Yeah, I do enjoy ZVT. It's definitely a matchup that is very, very down to the player's mechanics. You don't get cheated out most of the times. Your scouting has to be perfect to be able to see what your opponent is doing. As you were saying, there's so many things that turns from doing that is it's just amazing. Because some decide to go mech, some decide to be really aggressive, some decide to be passive. It's a blunder right now at the moment. Players are just trying to find out what they're really comfortable with. And them lanes look awesome.
Yeah. Lings, man. You know, I think Lings look really weird.
Why?
You know what I don't know. It's just a statement. You know what my favorite thing is though? Watching Zerglings like nibble a rock. Like if you watch a Zergling nibble a rock, it's like really entertaining. Especially when they don't have the skin on. Like it's just so fun.
Oh, okay.
You're probably thinking right now like, what the hell are you on about? But it's actually so cool. Like their attack, I just love it. There's something I've not said for a long time, but it still holds true. TomikuS here going to deflect these Reapers with a couple of queens. They will hop into the main base. There's still a queen here in the main, so not too much of an issue. And uThermal sees the gas. I'm pretty sure he just clicked on it there, so he knows that there's no more gas being mined. At the same time, though, a single Zergling trying to do a little bit of damage and forcing uThermal to play Ring Around the Rosie with his little SCV here.
Yeah, the Hellions are finally coming out now, so the third player has to be a little bit more passive in them lanes. They can't be as aggressive as he wants to be. The third CC is coming down, so he is trying to go up to that early free base economy. He's trying to let him pump out a lot of units and get about 8 to 9 barracks out, which is it's quite dangerous for the third player, because as we see with the players, the likes of Bomber, he likes to go for these just aggressive pushes that just never end, and we've seen many a player like Scarlet at least at that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, so many times we've just seen. I mean, Terran, it's exactly what you want to do. You want to start trading, especially when you're going for bio style like uThermal will be here, Stimpack on the way. You know, you want to start trading, you want to keep on trading after that. Interestingly, he's holding all of his Hellions back here. You know, just sees no need to send them out on the map just yet. Doesn't want to start picking off any Queen health or anything, which I find a bit interesting. It's almost as though he's going to try and surprise his opponent with them, even though I'm pretty sure TomikuS is going to be more than prepared for Hellions. But you know, the important thing is he's not losing them and not taking too much crazy damage on them. Because if you can keep your Hellions alive for kind of an 11-minute push with 1-1 and Medivacs, all of a sudden, like your push becomes so much stronger. Because the splash damage they add on, it stops the Zerg from being able to do so much. Now these 6 Hellions are going to move across the map, so you know this may just be a stylistic thing from uThermal, saying you know TomikuS is an aggressive player. If for some reason he's hidden 20 lings on the map around my Reapers, I'm not going to let him do damage with them. I'm just keeping my Hellions at home until I'm sure nothing like that's coming in. You know, I think that'd be a very smart thing if that's his reasoning behind this.
I like the idea that Thermal has by keeping them Hellions back. I think it gives him not only not only a little bit of surprise because he doesn't know when the Hellions are actually going to enter, and the Zerg player doesn't know that the Hellions are actually around his bases because his tree spread isn't going to be the best by that point in time. But that Spain Crawler is just going to deny any harassment to that for our base. Actually, really smart and really decent tree spread so far.
Yeah, the creep spread's starting to move out. You know, the creep spread's really awesome because he's just not being pressured at all by the Hellions. So, you know, no tumors have been picked off. You know, the Queens are nice and high on energy. One of them even has energy to transfuse, so maybe even 2 in a few seconds. So, the Hellions are going to try and sneak around the right-hand side. They could pick off a few drones here, but this Queen is going to spot them nice and early. And, well, the Queen might take a bit of damage, and this Queen actually might go down as it gets surrounded by these Hellions. Loses the creep tumors as well, and just no reaction from TomikuS. Now starts moving his Queens over there, but doesn't want to risk losing another, and just continues to spread his creep nice and slowly. Back at home, you know, uThermal is just powering up, adding on the production, getting his starport up and underway. His 1-1's on the way, just a little bit behind the Zerg player, while the Zerg player, as we're just mentioning him, Baneliness is down. Lair's about to finish up, so we're just going to see that very standard Muta, Banelin, Zergling play. Baneliness maybe a little bit late, would have been nice to have it a little bit earlier just so you can start that centrifugal hooks up ASAP, ready, so that's 100% ready in time for the 1-1 push, which is most likely going to come out of uThermal because, I mean, he's ready now defending his third base and it's very easy for him to start moving across the map.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think the 1-1 time is going to be the prime time for Thermal to do damage. And I really like the idea of it because our third player doesn't seem to want to be being any aggressive at any level right now. He just wants to drone up and get his economy to a safe level. Maybe take a 4th base as we do see right now. And maybe a macro hatch behind this and then start pumping out units when he has that bailing speed. But I don't think uThermal is going to let him be this passive.
Yeah, we actually see a 4th base coming down here for TomikuS, and there's that burning speed now starting up, and the Spire's halfway done. This is the time you want to push as a Terran player, and uThermal's actually going to decide to drop you, so this is kind of okay too. What you want to do though is you want to force Banens. You want to force these Banens to come out before he spends his gas on Mutalisks, and you know, if you can deny him from spending gas on Mutalisks, that's great, because then his Muta count isn't so great, so 2-2 does start up here for our Zerg play. He starts up 7 Banens, and guess what? He's got no gas to make any Mutalisks here. He can start his Mutalisk upgrades, but he's really lacking on kind of gas to go much further than that. And you know, because uThermal isn't directly pushing out, these Lings are now basically wasted because TomikuS just had to make them. So that's kind of the power of Terran right there and there. As a double drop heading up that north side. Hellions still positioned to move in towards the third if they get an opportunity, and that's something we're going to have to keep an eye on, as uThermal could definitely get a snipe on this 4th base.
Ori, how did that feel the way you seen them Zerglings baiting that rock? Was that nice?
That was wonderful. I didn't get to watch it for too long because this drop was coming into this 4th base, and the Zerglings, they've been rallied in the wrong direction, and at the same time Hellions into the 3rd base, getting a few worker kills here, so great multitasking from uThermal. He's going to trade off against all of these Zerglings at the 4th as well, trading so well and pushing the front, killing off all of the creep here. Great multitasking from uThermal to start up this game, and now he's going to go into the main base, and wow, TomikuS is in a lot of trouble. He's not dealing with this very well initially, and once you start giving a Terran momentum like this, they're not going to let it up.
The multitasking right now from our Terran player is just insane. He is everywhere and everywhere. He just cannot be stopped at the moment.
Third. Yeah, he's killing off a lot of Queens. I think the Queen at the natural is going to go down. This 3rd base Queen's going to go down. There's a lot of Marines here. This 3rd base is maybe even just going to go down, as a few Marines do move over to start killing off the drones, and this is so bad. Here comes the Banelins, here comes the Zerglings, here comes the Mutalisks, but I mean, goddamn, the damage is already done.
He's just lost so much right now that I don't know. He's not in a good spot, I would say. His
I mean,
queens have
Mucus is
been
still
killed.
falling.
So
This
his
is
macros don't go down. He's not going to be able to get as many units as he wants out to be able to deal with this constant push. The BDC uThermal is continuing to do. He's actually got hellbots for this. So these lanes are just going to get roasted. They're not going to be there for too much longer.
There's the mule coming down as well, and I mean this is just uThermal straight up 100% outplaying. TomikuS here, 27 workers killed up till this point. I mean that's only going to continue being added on here. These hellbats come in to help circuit the damage from the lings and kill them off nice and quickly. And there's no mulisks left. I mean they've all been killed off, and this base is going to die. And TomikuS just can't really rely on anything anymore. You know, he's got nothing left. A few lings run into their deaths. A few drones are sat around wondering, hey, how come I picked the Zerg? You let us all die. GG is called, and uThermal takes an extremely convincing game number 1. Wow.